suppose now is the time that I show you guys the updates to my Sneedforo. So the chat, let's see, I'm going to move my tabs around here, but I have gotten, oh, by the way, all my archives are being taken down on YouTube. So if you want to watch archives, you have to go to Manic.live or watch them on Odyssey. Let's see, Firefox. For some reason that has been disconnected. Is this right? Yes, it is. Oh, I don't have my super chat thing. I'm trying to reach my goal. If I can get another 25%, it's tip. I think it's tip.manny.live. Yeah. It's tip.manny.live is the super chats. Give me interesting super chats. I'll probably pay more attention to them this stream because I don't have as much to talk about, so I can waste some time. But the chat is stable. I got emotes working, kind of. I got BB code working, kind of. Not only did I get BB code working last week, I rewrote the entire thing. I spent 2 full days. I spent like 20 hours combined just completely rewriting the BB code thing. And as you can see, this is the commit here. It's I think it's 1,000 deletions and 850 additions. So yeah, this is what I've been doing the last 2 days, just racking my fucking head over this shit. And it's the most, writing a parser is like the most miserable fucking thing you can imagine. And it's still not done. But as you can see, like the actual test, if I, the bold, italics, things are cutting off kind of. There's certain tags that aren't done yet, but I'm getting there. Now that the parser itself is written, adding tags is more trivial. But yeah, after the BB code is done, guys, I can continue forward and integrate the chat back into the actual forum thing a bit, and I can start looking at making it look like not shit, like this kind of looks like shit. I'll probably make it look better, and start getting actual features for the forum start built again. But I have to finish the BB code thing and get chat to render 100% correctly. But I can say that I've added another chat room for the first time, the Autism Thunderdome. I've added this again, and this shows up for all the now 4 political boards, and I couldn't have that before. I couldn't have off-topic boards before because the chat was so cumbersome that adding it would literally like just choke the server, because there's too much shit happening and PHP can't handle it. But now with the new chat, I can watch the actual like live load, and it's way better. It's just way more functional, and it can handle the thousands of connections all at once, which is the entire point of doing the rewrite. Like even now, like I wrote all the BB code stuff, and I think, look at that. This page pulls like 10 posts and then parses all of them for the BB code and replaces them with, you know, the actual HTML, and it does it all in less than 5 seconds. It measures it down. When I have it so that under 5 milliseconds, it's measured in microseconds, so it's 4,700 microseconds to load this page. Compared to this, this page, any page on PHP is probably going to take at minimum 100 milliseconds to load, so 20 times slower at a minimum to load it. So that's the entire point of the rewrite. Is this live? Yes, it is. I'm just talking about what I'm doing because I don't have much else to talk about, so I figured I'd fill you guys in. Because it's like my plant update. This is my new plant. I work on it very hard, and this is what I have to show for it. Now, how did I get Discord to look like that? I am literally just stealing Discord style for everything. If I want to know how to make something look, I just borrow it from Discord because they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for UX trannies to make, you know, a very accessible chat application. And why would I just be like, oh, I'm developing a you know, a proprietary system for me and my users, and we snub our nose on that Discord business over there. Like, no, I'm going to take the tranny UX work. I'm going to copy and paste that whenever I can. And if anyone has a fucking problem, nobody's going to have a problem with it. Who's going to have a problem with that? They can't sue me for that. Are you fucking nuts? Oh, it looks like our chat program. Yeah, okay. I'm sure your chat program is wholly fucking unique. And it doesn't look like any other chat program. I'm sure that's what's happening. No, nobody cares. It's a functional design. But I really don't know what I want to do for the main form. I'm going to play around with a couple ideas and A/B test it and see what works out. If you are on Windows 11 right now, you might notice that there is a gigantic fucking rainbow flag on your search bar. Yeah, Tucker time. That is because Bill Gates has personally fucked you in the ass because you are a neighbor cattle on the neighbor cattle operating system. Look at this. Look at this shit that they put on your search bar that you have to like go into your control panel to figure out how to get rid of. You just have that on your monitor. Now, I, being a Linux Chad who can sometimes get my computer to run using Linux, never has to experience this utter humiliation. And if I ever did, I would just fucking uninstall my operating system and switch to a different one. If you're using Asahi Linux for whatever reason, you may get molested by them. But chances are I'm not going to get molested by these guys. Linux Kingsley 1, exactly. Everyone's making fun of me, like, oh, your Linux doesn't even work. Dur, dur, dur. Well, I'm not the one being thumbed in the anus right now by Bill Gates, because I don't have that shit on my screen. And when I see a black person or a gay person, I just look away with a moment of being freaked out. And then when the moment passes, I just move on. And thankfully, I don't have to put up with this. There is like a thread on Windows support, like, how do I get rid of this molestation? How do I stop getting molested? And I have to walk them through. Like, this guy doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. I bet you it's only Americans, too. If you're not American, you don't get thumbed in the anus by Bill Gates. Unless you take a vaccine, then you're getting thumbed in the anus by Bill Gates. We can't avoid getting thumbed in the anus by Bill Gates at this point. I have another tangent related to Linux up ahead. I know everyone loves this. By the way, if I went through this thread and there's like the questions, and then most of them have like a little comment that says like removed here, post remove edit. My faith-based rationale for this post was removed. So what they'll do, the mods, the Jannies for this help board on Microsoft will like leave the original post intact and then just take out anything that's like, I don't want to see gay shit on my screen, and just leave that little remove down here. But now it's going into page 3 and 4. The Windows Chads are uprising. There was one where that made me laugh. It was like, oh no, they deleted it. It was on page 3. They fucking deleted it. Someone said something. Oh, here. Did you figure it out? I just woke up and noticed the pride flag on my taskbar. Scared to let the kids use the PC now. So old Skinny here has seen the gay and is now sheltering her children from the sight of the gay because she knows what they're up to. She knows that it says in the Bible you must reject the Antichrist and the devil. Okay, here's my hot take. There was an election in Texas. The Republicans, the red guys, they beat the blue guys. Now you might be thinking, which one of these represents the Republicans in Texas? You'll be very confused because here we have a fat guy who's like a 400-pound, morbidly obese Mexican. Whenever I see a really fat man, I think of the word beaner. I don't even know why, but when I think of a beaner, I think of very specifically a super morbidly obese Mexican. So we have a beaner, and then we have a woman who looks like a Native American. Her name is Mayra Flores, so I'm pretty sure she's just Hispanic. She's just Mexican. This woman here is the Republican one, and she won, and everyone's like, oh, the Republicans took this Democratic House seat in Texas that is historically a blue stronghold. It's like, who gives a fuck? I want to know, like, okay, so now to make sure that the Republicans can win any elections, they're just running. Oh, and by the way, the historicness of this woman is that she was born in Mexico. So she is now the first Mexican-born foreigner who is going to be a U.S. congressperson. And we're just okay with that. Like, yeah, sure, people born in Mexico can just hop the border and represent us in the United States of America. This is my federal representative. She knows what's best for me. It's like, really? Here's my take, my thought, my musing for the day. I watched a documentary once upon a time about elections in the Soviet Union, and you may think, Josh, the Soviet Union did not have elections because they were a totalitarian communist state. And you would be surprised, there were elections in the Soviet Union. However, they were one-party elections, which means that there was one person that you could vote for usually, or if there was multiple people, it would be between two but they didn't usually run two of the same party, because then it's like, oh, well, now there's like conflicts within the Soviet Party, the People's Party, when there should be unity. So they would usually only run one person who was the handpicked person from the Communist Party, but they still wanted everybody to go out and vote, to the point where they had like mail-in vote ballots, I'm pretty sure, and they would go to the hospital. Like if you were sick and you couldn't go vote at the booth, they would the government would bring you a ballot to make sure that you could vote even if you were injured and otherwise unable to. And you might be thinking, well, that's strange. Why would an authoritarian regime with one candidate care if everybody voted? And the answer is that they saw that as popular assent. If 70% of an area or 90% of an area would come out and vote for the guy, then you know that 90% of people are probably okay with that pick. So if we view this kind of bullshit as the same thing, and we think that voting for any party is the same as voting for the approved list of party members from the Soviet Union, and whoever wins doesn't really matter, then I'm starting to believe that maybe we should just not vote. Maybe at like a local level only. But here's my opinion, right? There's one other thing that there's many things, but in particular, there's one thing that they count in the same way that they count as ballots, and that is firearm and munition sales. And I'm thinking, what if people just buy guns and munitions on the days that the polls are open, and you just don't vote? And they think, oh, well, our turnout is 10%, and we sold 2 million firearms and 2 billion rounds that day. Why is this? This is strange. And that way you can just say, like, I'm not voting. I'm not participating in the Soviet Union system of voting for the one guy. I'm just going to make the ATF shit themselves every single year or every other year. I think that should be the plan. That should be the plan. Instead of voting, just buy a gun. And that's not threatening. It's my constitutional, my right to possess a firearm is as enshrined in the Constitution as my right to vote. So therefore, that's why, like, you only lose your firearm rights the same time you lose your voting rights, right? You have to be a felon. So therefore, I should be able to do this. I should be able to vote by just buying a gun. Fed post. Why is that a Fed post? I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything illegal. If you can legally buy a firearm and you don't believe that voting does anything, why spend your day in the line at the crowded public school voting district when you could just buy a gun instead? This is my thought, and it's nothing illegal. It's nothing even threatening. It's just saying that I don't think that this system is working anymore. I am going to prepare for alternative scenarios that I believe may be more likely to happen, such as a deer attack, such as a pig attack. You see that Ralph is a pig and he's flying over to other countries and just attacking people. That could happen to any of us. That we could be attacked by pigs in the same exact way. So you have to be ready. That's a fact, dude. The federal government has figured out a way to subvert any kind of discussion like this on the internet, where they just have everyone afraid of everybody else and say, oh no, if I buy a gun on November 11th, then that must be like a criminal thing that it'll get put on a list. The government is so powerful and so omniscient that if you do anything that is even a little bit suspicious, they'll know. They'll just know right away, and they'll track you, and they'll make sure that you have a bad life, and they'll just know. They're so strong. Don't even talk about it. If you talk about it, then Big Brother will know. They'll know. Once the ideation has left your lips, you've already committed an original sin against Big Brother. And it's like, fuck you. I don't believe Fed posting is like very specifically encouraging someone to break the law. If you're not encouraging someone to break the law, it's not a Fed post. And anyone who is sitting there saying you're Fed posting by advocating against voting, then that person is a neighbor cattle. They've been completely mind raped by Bill Gates' has thumb in their anus, and now they don't know what it feels like to not have Bill Gates' thumb in their anus. Wild boars they are dangerous. That's why you need a high capacity magazine. You don't know how many bullets it will take to put down a wild boar that's coming right for you. You know, people think, oh, maybe my 5-round snub nose 45 ACP will put down that. I'm just making words up. I don't know if any of that makes sense. We'll put down a wild boar. No. You need like a 30 round 9mm at the least. Vouch posting. Man hiding in Balkans. Dude, you have no idea. I cannot fucking wait. I'm gonna go back one day. I'm gonna come back one day. You watch me, motherfucker. I'm gonna have my Akimbo Desert Eagles straight from the Israeli Defense Force surplus. I'll just be firing wildly in the air, and I'll have one of those GoPros on. You guys will shit yourselves. One day I'll just start up my stream and it'll be me putting on a GoPro, and you'll be like, "No, what are you doing?" But then we'll go out. We'll go out for some friendly ranging. I'll go out to my backyard with the range and just start firing rounds, and it'll be a wholesome big chungus day instead of a scary day. Sounds like a threat. Well, me saying I'm going to come to your country probably is very threatening to people. Frank Castleman, okay. Your soy hand. I fired a weapon before. I own a weapon. I sold it before. Well, I didn't sell it. I gave it away before I left the U.S. because you can't take that shit with you. But I fired miniguns. Fired a H&K VP9. Fired a Taurus revolver. Fired a 9mm. Fired a 22 rifle. I did not fire a shotgun though, because it's harder to find ranges that have shotguns, because they have little pulleys that you put the targets on when you go shooting, and those strings that those targets hang on are can be damaged. So if you take a shotgun, chances are that you're gonna fuck up those strings, so they don't let you. But one day